Hey guys, I'm Hoshka, and welcome back to part 2 of my beginner's guide to Halo 5 speedrunning. This series is intended to point you in the right direction if you find yourself interested in learning the run. This is primarily targeted towards easy runners, which most of the routing will consist of, but I'll share some legendary tricks from time to time just in case you've thought about trying or are generally curious. So, let's continue with the game's second mission, Blue Team. Now, this is the first playable mission as Master Chief, and there are noticeable differences between him and Locke. First, his running speed is much slower. Also, his thrust recharge is slower as well. Finally, not only is his hover time not as long, he also reacts the same as the Spartans in multiplayer, where he loses height the longer you stabilize. Even though this can be battled by spamming the crouch button while you do it, it will become tiresome depending on your controller layout. There are various ways to do the start, but let's start with the more straightforward method. Jump on this console, stabilize, and clamber onto this point. Sprint and jump off this edge and thrust across the gap. Once you jump over this rail, you want to be sure to fire on your way down and while the door is opening. This will alert the grunts on the other side and open the second door early. Kill this grunt and take his plasma pistol and continue. At the top of the ramp, you'll see a gold elite. While approaching him from mid-distance, overcharge your plasma pistol until he brings out his sword. From there, you can overcharge him in melee to take his sword. Be careful of the grunts on the other side of this door, as one likes to go kamikaze and may kill you. Now, just push this button and begin the weight gain. Over to this elevator for another button. Once off the elevator, smash through the grate. On your way down, try to spring jump off this corner for a nice little boost. The rest of the area is just following this path. Once you get to the end, jump over the railing and ground pound below to cancel the hunter animation and trigger the next area quicker. For Legendary, you want to take the opposite path, as you can avoid great deals of damage. Jump on this box, thrust, and clamber to this ledge. You want to pick up a BR from this case, and clamber up these two ledges. Now, I know it may be hard to see, but try to jump at this line, and you can stabilize to get around the geometry. Turn left a little, thrust, and ground pound to this edge. With luck, you should have skipped a trigger that spawns the next wave. Now, run to the edge here. To get back into the map, clamber here, turn completely around, jump straight up, and clamber back in. There is a skip in the beginning that takes quite a bit of skill, but bypasses the initial enemies and the elevator. Be sure to stand here for a checkpoint for practice, and just in case you happen to miss. Now, you'll see some runners do this method. From the top of this edge, jump and hover at the peak of your height, and hopefully you can get the clamber onto this light. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty tricky. I found this method a little easier and more consistent. Stand on the back, line the top of your reticule with the bottom of the light, sprint, jump, thrust, and hover at the peak of your jump. If you slip off while clambering, just clamber again and you'll have solid footing. As you can see, it's pretty consistent. Now comes the difficult part. Jump and thrust around the ledge and clamber onto the window edges, moving right as you go. You can jump after the clamber to get more height and distance. The first two ledges are simple. Just jump backwards and thrust across. The third is the more problematic one because there's a barrier to get over, and it can mess up your thrust. Best way to explain it is to jump back, and at the peak of your jump, thrust across it, not around it. It can be helpful to ground pound onto the hallway if you think you may come close. From here, just follow the hallway, being sure to thrust over the area between the rooms, as you will fall through the map. In this hallway, jump to the right of the center, as the next room is offset slightly right. In this last room, head to the back right and jump over this edge. If you got a load freeze, you know you've done it correctly, as the freeze triggers the enemies in the next area to load. Once out of the load freeze, thrust forward and ground pound to the right of this orange light. Now we get our sword. Continue as normal and clamber up this ledge. Once you run past these elites, go to the top of the ramp, turn around, and there it is. Now, some people prefer to use a shotgun as a secondary in the later areas. I personally prefer the Hydra, so choose your weapon and head on as we did before. From here, we just go normally, running by enemies. After we pass these boxes, there's a grunt you want to run by. Turn left and thrust over these jackals. At the bottom, use your shoulder charge just as you're about to hit the suicide grunt for an added boost towards the door. Once you enter this room, head back and assign your AI to this hallway. This is so they won't draw the next elite away from you. Run by this elite and continue on. As you watch your radar, you'll see him chasing you. You want him to chase you through the third door. Once inside, jump straight backwards over him and assassinate him, which makes him drop a full 100% sword. I switched to my secondary weapon to do it, since the sword sometimes likes to insta-kill him. If you miss the animation, just melee him a couple times. When you pop his shield, he tends to aggro, making it easy to get behind him to finish the job. This room is pretty straightforward. Once the door opens, I assign my team to the furthest hunter and go for the first. Using the sword in the pink of his back, press right trigger and then melee for a quick kill and continue. You can choose to kill the second one on your way to the button if you wish. I personally hit the button first, then nail him with the Hydra and plasmas while the tube is opening if my AI haven't killed him first. Once open, turn left and smash through this grate. Jump and thrust off the ledge and ground pound to the left of the right elite. This should set you up properly to sword the left one before he jumps up. Now, sprint up this ramp and assign your team up here to help with the battle. There's a gold elite with the sword up here, and hopefully he has it ready when you kill him, as you may need to trade it out. This section is just clearing enemies. Up here, there are 5 additional elites that you want to kill before they try to flee down the ramp. The rest is just 2 shield jackals and 4 grunts. You may have to assist your team below, as all but 2 shield jackals must die before the button can be pressed. If the button shows up as you're standing next to the console, be sure to wait 2 to 3 seconds before you press it, as pressing early will delay the next objective and you'll find yourself waiting on the elevator in excess of 20 seconds or more. If you hear the ship talk after you press it, you know you're good. Or if you really want to be safe, wait for Kelly to say, "Area secure," before hitting it. In this door, there are some hidden weapons, but we really only want the DMR. Once you land, trade out your sword for the fuel rod. Bust through this grate and hit the button. From there are 5 vents you need to hit. Which vents you decide to target will depend on which video you watch. Once you shoot your 5th, grab a Banshee and target the final 3. Now fly for this area. I will say right now, my method is different from others, but it still gets the job done. Once you go under, turn right and fly straight up while turning around. Fly up and over this and follow the hallway. Once at this edge, go left and slightly down, aiming for the lights that are in a square pattern until you hit the wall. If the area hasn't loaded, gently fly up and then back down while still against the wall and you should be good. Now you just want to wait for Chief to say, "We're taking a prowler." Fly up, turn back around, and drop back into the ceiling while lightly turning right. Don't drop too steep or you'll hit a kill barrier. Go over the Jackal's ramp and down to the door to trigger the final load. Bomb the elite and head over here. You want to wedge your nose in this lip and eject. Now, just walk to the right wing and give it and the nose a punch. This should block the hunter from dropping and kill him in the death barrier. It'll take some time to get a feel for this though. This section is just clearing enemies. 2 jackals will spawn here and here. Once you get the big rumble cam, that's when the hunters spawn. this one with 3 grunts waiting to be fuel rodded, and this one with grunts and jackals. As you can see, I didn't get the block, as it wasn't far enough back. But with a revert and a lucky nade, we should be good to go. Once again, 2 sets of jackals, take out some stragglers, fuel rod these grunts, now to spawn kill these guys. 3 grunts drop here, so a fuel rod shot will clear them. And now it's clearing until you hear
Prowler fuel cells at 50%.
Reinforcements inbound.
From there, you want to head over here and grab either the rockets or the railgun, because we're doing some spawn killing. Backsmack this guy, cross-map this guy, and backsmack the final one. Jackals will spawn randomly, so take them out as need be. Lastly, you rocket 3 grunts who spawn here. And 3 that spawn here. Which order doesn't matter. Clear any remaining stragglers until you see the loading icon. Then stand under the prowler at the edge of the ledge to end the mission. And that's that. This mission will frustrate you beyond belief, but just keep at it and you'll have it down before you know it. Once again, I'm Hoshka, and I hope to see you back as we run through the game's 3rd mission, Glassed.